everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we have kind of an interesting video. I'm gonna do a book review of Deviant, the shocking true story of Ed Gein, the original Psycho, by Schechter. Since this serial killer liked chopping off heads and I need a haircut, well, I thought it'd be fun to do both at the same time. So what I'm gonna do first, before we get into the book review, I have some elastics. I have a pair of shears. Always use shears, no kitchen scissors. Thank you. Oh, context. I'm in a true crime book club. It's Peter Monn's book club. I'll link it down below. It's really fun. I joined in I found it and joined it at the end of, May. And so, I ended up picking up Deviant and I loved it. I've read some nonfiction before, but I've never read like serial killer nonfiction. So what I'm gonna do here real quick is I'm just gonna make several little sections of ponytails, and then I'm gonna adjust them all at the same level and then cut it there, right, so that I could get a square bob. Whatever. Okay, you get it. I really liked it. The way the book is kind of organized is that by the way, check out all the sticky tabs in here. And this book, I got it on thriftbooks.com. Smells phenomenal. The way the book is structured is that for the first third or so of the book, they talk about Ed Gein's, or Eddie, his real name is Edward, okay, so Eddie is what he calls him most of the time in the book. They talk about his personal life in the first part of the book, and then, or the first third of the book, I would say. And in the last 2/3 is more on the investigation and the aftermath within the community. His act of serial killerness of murder was in the 50s. I'm gonna say 40s and 50s because really apparently there's still a lot of unidentified victims, and they never really found out how many victims he's had. So I'm gonna say 40s and 50s, although he got caught in 57. Okay, so this, just to show you real quick, this is what I did with my hair. I'm making I split it into two sections, the front and the back. So the front has 2 sections and the back has 3. I will say this was an awesome book. It was very complete for the most part, except for 1 or 2 things that I wish were more in it. In the first part, when they talk about his life, I wish they had focused more on his relationship with his brother. I feel like they just kind of glazed over that. This book made me pretty uncomfortable. I knew a couple things about him getting into it. I knew that, I didn't know about him personally, but I knew he was the serial killer who inspired Norman Bates from Psycho. He also inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And what's that guy's name? I almost stabbed my leg. Ugh. On brand, you guys. He also inspired that serial killer, in Silence of the Lambs. Not Hannibal Lecter, but the guy who's it puts the oil on its skin. Because that's what Ed Gein would do. He had this fetish of wearing his victim's skin that he made into coats and face masks. Face masks 2020, oh my god, he would have thrived. Is this even? I feel like this is even, right? I feel like I should be listening to some Goodbye Horses right about now. If you know the reference that I'm making right now, comment down below. Goodbye horses. Na, 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 na. Okay. I will say this. The Harold Schechter is very repetitive in his use of terms to describe Ed Gein, the pudgy little man. He uses like, you know what's funny? Like, he uses kind of more endearing terms for the most part, because the whole like idea that he wants to get across is that he, Ed Gein, I mean, was like an awful serial killer, but also to everyone around him, he was like the nice, quiet next door neighbor. You know what I mean? Not that, okay, in the middle of Wisconsin farms, you don't really have a next door neighbor, right? Everyone just assumed he was quiet, but he was nice, and he was like very helpful. Everyone hired him as like a handyman. He could kind of like fix up everything, I guess. Can we, by the way, quick little shout out to Deep Purple, Burn. This is a great album. I was listening to it earlier today. I wish I could listen to it like with you guys, you know what I mean? Man, I gotta work out. These thighs ain't looking good. When I was reading the part before he was caught, right? Like while he was growing up and while he was doing the crimes and such, the part that really got me and that kind of pissed me off, I'll be honest, is that the narrator talks about like how everyone around him knew him, how their relationships with him and his parents were when he was a kid, how he was perceived by others, basically. And what really annoyed me is that, okay, so maybe they didn't know the red flags back then, but how many times nowadays are there like criminals that get caught, and then when we look at their backgrounds, there are very similar, you know, things in their life, and it's like, we identified these red flags like over 100 years ago now, so why can't we learn from them, you know what I mean? Or like be more proactive about everything. And there doesn't seem to be a good system in place for those. Do you hear that? I don't think you can hear that, but there's the ice cream truck. Okay. Has anyone seen that horror movie, The Ice Cream Man? Oh, I'll link it down below. It's on YouTube. Well, last time I saw it, it was on YouTube. That was a couple years ago, so I'll try to remember. I wish they had also, because they do get into like how he suffered from necrophilia, you know, his schizophrenia and such. I wish they had gone into more detail about how his mother's way of bringing him up affected him, because I feel like that's really at the core where everything happened, right? Like, there are a couple anecdotes at the very beginning of the book of when he was a kid, and like, you know, when they put those few anecdotes in, it's not by mistake, right? It's like they're trying to tell you like, hi, something happened here. So honestly, all in all, I would definitely recommend this book. It's an interesting court case. Like, if you're interested in law, like psychologically charged criminal law cases, criminology, then this book is the book for you, for sure. Okay, by the way, this is super random, but this video is random, let's be honest. Is anyone of the same opinion than me that Psycho 2 is better than the first one? I'm gonna put it out there, and I want to know your opinions, although I know I'm right. Alright, here's the final result. I did end up cutting some more in my bathroom. This is actually a couple days later. I keep snipping at it every now and then when I see something I don't like. I think now is pretty much the end product. Anyway, so So let me know in the comments, have you read this book? Do you plan on reading it? Do you know anything about other serial killer books I should read? Let me know. Like this video if you did. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I post Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!